The word dumb can mean many things, referring to somebody being dumb, or a decision made that affected something in a dumb way. Well, in front of us, we have a combination of dumb people making dumb decisions. This is the Type 71, a Tier 10 Japanese tech tree heavy. And I think Wargaming really just doesn't understand how to balance anything properly. Because the Type 71 has always been a rather solid vehicle. But Wargaming really decided to push it over the edge with the latest updates. You see, what happened to the vehicle is that, first of all, it features AP Premium. And not only does it have AP Premium, but 362 millimeters of premium pen, basically making this a Ho-Ri heavy tank. Not only does this vehicle have ridiculously good pen values, but it also got a buff on the premium damage, only losing 20 from the standard. Normally when you load gold, for example, if we take a look at a Super Conqueror, you lose a whopping 60 alpha. That is 3 times the damage loss, versus something like the Type 71. But that's what Wargaming has decided. They have decided that they are going to make the Type 71 just stupid. Not only that, but the vehicle has really good armor, it has solid mobility, and overall, it's I think the Type 71 is probably the best beginner tank right up there next to the E5. The E5 is great if you want to do hull down playstyle. And the major reason why I usually recommend newer people to grind the E5 is because you get punished for making misplays, which I think is a good thing to learn. Getting, punished for driving out into the open and showing your lower plate or not being able to reverse fast enough to get back into cover, I think is a good trait that you should teach somebody that's getting into the game. The Type 71 is a brain dead tank. I mean, we're gonna see what it can do in today's gameplay, but the fact that you can ignore all armor, the fact that you can load gold and not really care because you're barely losing any damage per shot, the fact that your tank itself has incredible levels of armor, has a crap ton of hit points, and surprisingly good mobility, it's just, I don't know, man. The Type 71, I like it, don't get me wrong, and it's very rarely seen played, which I always find very confusing. This is such a good heavy, yet nobody plays it. And my only thought process to why that would be the case is the fact that people just don't want to grind a Japanese heavy. But that's confusing to me, because the STB1 is literally the most played medium, like, at least it was, until Wargaming has repeatedly nerfed it, but I don't know, it's so weird to me. All the Japanese tanks are absolute bangers. The Ho-Ri is insanely good. The STB1, even after the changes, is still a beast. So it's very confusing to me why people have such a hard time wanting to grind this line. Now we have the enemy 183, which we get a nice 400 damage shell into. And we do have the Jagdtiger over here, so I would assume that the Jagdtiger gets a shell. Wow, what a skilled 183. What a truly most magnificent player. So we can obviously see the armor on the Type here, and it's a little stupid. It's basically impossible to pen for a stock Centurion, but to be fair, that is a stock Centurion, so not something I'm entirely scared of. Now we do know that they had a tank. It was a 183. It was a 183. Of course it was. It's never, a 400 alpha gun, or even a 600. It has to be the highest alpha tank on their team. Congratulations, Mr. 183. You are now going to die and deal literally nothing. But unfortunately for me, I was the one who received the minus 1,000 HP pool. Just annoying. That's all there really is to say about it. Well, we got the VZ55 all the way over where our Conqueror is. I don't know where the VK72... Oh, well, that's a T-30. Let's get a quick pen into his tank, angle it towards him, and he shoots. Okay, well, that's fine with me. Okay, I guess we get no damage. Wow. Welcome to World of Tanks, ladies and gentlemen, where 183s not only ruin your fun, but they also take all the damage away, so that you can't get any. Unfortunate. Well, let's aim it on the enemy VK90, and this should be a fairly easy pen. I mean, look at that pen this vehicle has. That is insane. The fact that I could actually pen the VK90 side at that angle it's actually incredible. Now, I am the lowest health. Well, I guess our 183 is lower health, but basically I'm one of the lowest health tanks on our team. Oh, God, what are we doing, Jagdtiger? What are we doing, bro? What are we doing? What are we doing? I mean, hey, if you want to take the shots from me, go ahead, but just very confused on what his play was there. Well, there you go. Nice 391 into the enemy VZ. That leaves only one tank left on the enemy team, the VK9001P, who we're going to get a pretty easy 440 shot into. Well, we are already over 3,000 damage, 3,200 to be exact. I mean, look at the pen on this tank. That is insane. Now, obviously, I'm running refined, so it doesn't really matter right now whether I, you know, load gold or not. I'm able to hit that lower plate quite easily, but yeah, the gun on the Type is actually surprisingly accurate. It has really good on-movement values. It has not great DPM, but not bad either, especially when you compare the gold rounds of damage per minute versus, you know, a Super Conk goes from like 2,800 DPM down to like 24, 2,300 in loading gold. This tank goes from 2,400 DPM to basically 2,350. It's just not a noticeable difference on the damage per minute, meaning that you can basically just spam gold and have no downside whatsoever. So our first game in the Type 71 was literally a cakewalk. We did 4,000 damage, and I didn't really have to care too much. Watching the enemy 183 YOLO right into the open at the beginning of the game solidified the enemy team's chances of winning. To be fair, they probably weren't going to win that to begin with, but just watching that player make that maneuver, as I said, kind of solidified that. So now we are on Port Bay, and I don't like Port Bay, to be entirely honest. I think it's one of the worst maps in the game, especially because I got the bad spawn. And not only that, but it looks like our E75, ML2, and FE2 and 5B183 have decided that they're going to go over to this flank of the map. Oh, well, not this flank, sorry, should I say town, which is not good, to be entirely honest. The nice thing about the Type is that it doesn't really matter whether you're on a ridgeline or if you're on flat ground. The armor is effective either way. The armor on this tank is just great. What sucks, though, is that both our Vickers Light and our Sheridan don't appear to have much brain cells. Well, my team sucks. I will fully say that right now. These players going down are screwing our team. However, the Vickers Light and Sheridan are equally to blame, because if you see that your team is going one way, you should not go to the other side of the map and try to sit in the river. But it looks like they were smart enough to leave, so I'll give them some credit. However, nah, our Sheridan wasn't smart enough to leave. Even though he was the one that sat behind the Vickers, he's the one that's actually going to get massively bled. So we get a nice shell into the enemy T95, and we back into cover. Now, that T95 really doesn't scare me all too much. I'm just going to load a gold shell, and we're going to slam it right into his lower plate. Well, actually, 6 damage HE. Ooh, you got me good. Ooh, I'm really scared. What will I ever do? Well, I will chill right here. We will aim it on the T95. I think he's running the... If I'm not mistaken, he's running the 120, because there's no way he's running the higher... Yeah, he's running the stock gun. And there you go. Nice, easy, clear into his tank. Good job from our Mill, too. Really showing how to play the game properly there. And then he says the team's terrible. I cannot wait to see that player's win rate. I really can't. I will not be surprised when it's a whopping 45%. Well, we got a good shell into the enemy 50 TP. Now all we have to do is wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. And that's what the Type does a good job at. Just getting bounces, holding. We got a nice shot into the enemy Waffenträger Panzer IV. We do have a 2 and 5 beyond my rear, but for the time being, that player's not the biggest of threats. We're going to aim it on the 50 TP, and we're going to get the clear. We also have the E6 right in front of us, and we're just going to reload again, 5 more seconds, and we'll have the clear on his tank as well. We can see that the, well, the Type just kind of doesn't really care about people's feelings. And that's what makes this tank so darn strong, is that it just doesn't care. It has DPM, it has mobility, it has armor, and now that it has the pen, I mean, obviously I haven't even needed to use it because this enemy team literally has 2 brain cells, but still, there you go, easy HE into the enemy Waffenträger Panzer IV. I'm just gonna send him, honestly, I just don't care. I'll be surprised if he, well, actually they do pen me. Well, maybe I'll be a little more passive, but we get a nice shell into the enemy Waffle. Okay, now that's not good. I just realized that I have literally no support. Okay. Well, unfortunately for me, I guess it's not really going to matter. I'm still going to die, because the Sheridan's going to roll onto my rear, and we got the 62A on my front, which I'm going to try and angle, but at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter when I have everything else on me, right? So, unfortunately for me, yeah, unfortunate, right? But this team sucked. I said that immediately. This team sucked. Our Emil 2 No clue what he was doing. Went town and then decided, you know what? I actually decided I don't want to go town. Let me go back to where I was before. Genius play. We blocked 1400. We did 4,300. And we didn't have to load gold once. So, ironically, as much as I say the gold is stupid, we didn't even need to use it. The FE2 and 5e on their team is a decent player and smart enough to understand when to farm. Our Mill 2, there's the answer, 46. It's just... I'm not mad at him. I find it crazy how people will blame their teammates the moment they die when they are the reason that we were already in a bad situation. If a tank with 10 degrees, 9 degrees gun depression like the Emil 2 had gone towards the heavy flank of the map, and I had been able to go there, and our Sheridan, which wanted the cross, and our Vickers, which did cross, we would have been fine. We probably would have won. But because our teammates didn't want to do that, we ended up losing. What a surprise, right? So... that's Blitz for you. But at the end of the day, the Type 71 is an insanely strong vehicle. And it just keeps getting stronger. If you want a good heavy to grind, not only is the Type 71 a beast, but the whole line itself is incredible. The Type 68 has 380 millimeters of heat pen, solid armor, great mobility. The Chisei has great AP premium penetration. It has fantastic armor, even great DPM. The whole line is crazy good. And when you pair that with the fact that the tier 10 is the icing on top, it's just crazy. So, let me know what you guys think about the Type 71 in the comments, and let me know if you agree, but I think it'd be pretty hard for people not to agree. Yeah, it might be a little boring, but boring never stopped anybody from bullying. I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.